That's right, we're finally working on the FD again. Or I guess I should say that I have been working on the FD again, because there's not a whole lot of stuff worth filming to, you know, and putting just the engine bay back together and getting it all ready to start for the first time in, what, a year now plus. But the last time you guys saw this engine bay completed, I had a trussed stock mount intercooler and a coil rad like stock mount radiator. And that was a decent setup for, you know, a stock FD, but for, you know, a 400 horsepower single turbo FD, it really wasn't that great. I mean, it's an upgrade from stock, but just not great. So since then, I had the car taken to a fabricator, local guy, and got a V-mount intercooler radiator setup fabricated. I didn't want to go the gritty route with the V-mount stuff because it's just super expensive, and I honestly just don't see the value in it. Although, after doing this, I kind of do, because not doing the fabrication work myself because I wanted it to look good and I didn't want to risk, my hands getting on it and making it look bad. I went, paying a fabricator. Turns out that costs a lot of money, and I paid almost the same as what I would have if I just bought the gritty kit. But I mean, it's fine, whatever. At least I have a one-on-one setup, I guess. I don't know, but anyway. Whoops. So what this is a CX Racing intercooler and radiator. They sell them just as the individual parts, and then you just fabricate everything else yourself to make it work. So these clamps and these hoses, tubes, are all fabricated. This intake tube is all custom fab. These shrouds are custom, the mounts are custom. Everything's custom except for the actual radiator and intercooler. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get part of this redone because this piece specifically, let's see, I have it disconnected for a good reason, because it doesn't really fit anymore, and we're not really 100% sure why. But my fabricator is standing behind his work, luckily, and he said that he's willing to take it back to the shop and just completely redo this whole pipe, which is good anyway, because honestly, like, I don't really know what went on at his shop, but like there's some bad misalignment and stuff like that. But I mean, honestly, like, everything else is great. I have full faith in him that he can make this look perfect again, you know, just redoing this whole piece. Everything else worked out pretty good. I do need to remake a couple of my oil cooler lines because this is not really going to cut it. But I've kind of just cobbled this thing together over the past few days or week to just get it to the point where I can start it for the first time, because today is a pretty special day. Today is July 7th, 2023. Seven's Day. And while I can't drive the car to any kind of meets, unfortunately, I've never been able to in the past with this car either, so what else is new? I want to at least be able to turn on the car and just let it idle for a second. There's no coolant, there's no radiator fan yet. I still need to figure that out. But everything else is hooked up. I made sure that it had fuel. I flushed the lines before I hooked everything up. And I think that the car can start. So I'm just gonna go ahead and see what happens. I'm not gonna let it run for too long, but hopefully. All right. Make sure I'm not signaling or anything. Fuel pump prime. All right, here we go. This is legitimately the first time I'm attempting to start this car. I have no idea what will happen, but I'm hoping for the best. Yeah, low coolant, right? No way. No way. Come on, you started for a second. Okay. Well, I mean, you guys heard that it started. All right. Okay, so it ran for a second and then it stopped. I did put a Walbro 440 in this, so the fuel pressure is probably much higher than it should be. So I'm gonna try to reset the fuel pressure to where it should be and then try again. All right, I reduced the fuel pressure and defloated the engine just in case. Here goes round two. this can do. All right, let me dig a little deeper. All right, went ahead and changed the spark plugs out with some new ones. Let's see what that does. Apparently nothing. Alright, well, it would appear that my problem is fuel related, because if I take a little of this starter fluid, spray it in there. Runs, just doesn't want to stay running. So I guess maybe my injectors are clogged. That's what I'm going to try next. So I guess I'll go ahead and try that and get back to you. Well, I'm sorry I didn't stop to share the moment with you guys. I didn't really know if it was going to happen or not, but lots of stuff happened since you last seen me. So I've just been going through all this stuff, trying to find something out of place. I don't know, right? I ended up this freaking stud just like felt like I zipped this off, right? And then the stud itself fell off and fell down the freaking runner, of course. So I had to take off the whole lower intake manifold and I put it all back together, you know, after I found that and got it out. And like I was messing with my fuel system, I had my fuel rails all off, taped up so they wouldn't pop up fuel pressure, seeing if they'd spray, and like I was just getting no fuel. And I was like just going through everything I could possibly think of to figure out why isn't it, you know, why isn't it injecting? And then I don't know really why, but I just decided to swap out these things again. Someone's honking at me or something, and yeah, it just randomly started working. That is so cool. This is such a massive relief for me. Oh man. Sorry, I'm genuinely freaking excited right now. I honestly didn't know it was gonna happen today, but 7's day has been a success as far as I'm concerned for myself. I wish I could drive this thing to a meet. That's just not gonna happen. There's way too many things I need to do before it would be capable of driving on the street, but it starts and drives. That's good enough for me. So, oh man, it's about to rain out of nowhere, so I'm gonna pack this all up for the day and we'll see what happens. Alright, well I think I owe you guys a bit of an apology because since the last video I have been a very busy boy without filming pretty much anything except for just some random clips here and there. So let me get you up to speed real quick. First thing you probably noticed is I did replace my left headlight cover with a brand new one. The old one was fine. I actually ended up selling that one because there was a dude on the groups who was looking for one that was already painted innocent blue, and I told him if he gave me enough to buy a brand new one that I could just paint instead of continuing to use my old one, then I would just do it. So I'm going to be painting that soon. I'm also going to be painting my hood soon because I had to cut quite a bit out of this whole area to make it work, and I'm pretty sure I cut too far into the carbon layer to actually fix it with just clear coat. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to be painting the whole hood to match the body, but I'm going to be leaving the vents more or less raw. Like this will be raw carbon, this will be raw carbon, and then right here what I think I'm going to do is maybe tape down to like right about here, and then kind of just spray at an angle so there's a little bit of a gradient going in, so it'll be full on color right here, kind of just leading into the raw carbon. And I think that'll look really good. And I mean, as much as I like the full carbon look, I think it would look a lot better like that. But aside from that, under the hood, all right, so it's all going to look basically the same, but I had to get this fixed because there was a pretty decent boost leak right here, and then a couple of clamps were issues, and also there was a bit of an issue with the fab process where he accidentally got this one just a little bit too short and it wasn't able to go back together. So luckily my fabricator's an awesome dude, and he picked it back up, fixed everything, and tried to make it as good as he possibly could. If nothing else, there's definitely no boost leaks now. And I also got my fans wired in. You can't really see them, but they're under there, and this is pretty ghetto, I know, but I'm going to be fixing this later. For now, it works, and it doesn't really give me any issues. Obviously, I got to fix my oil cooler lines as well, because I really can't run a belt right there, which means I have no power steering, which is okay because right now my power steering cooler line is also disconnected, so that's another thing I got to work out. I'm kind of in the stage of this build where everything works, and I'm just kind of slowly going through it, getting everything, you know, checked over and right, making sure everything works before I go too crazy with making it clean again. So all of that will get cleaned up, all of that will get cleaned up. I'll get my belt back installed, I'll get my oil cooler lines reconnected once I kind of make those work. They don't really work with the V-mount kit. Alright, sorry about that, my camera cut out for some reason. But basically what I was saying is I took it to get an alignment, my water pump failed like 3 minutes down the road. It's an electric one, just so you know, it's down there and it's all disconnected there. And I guess it's just because I left it in my shed for a while and it probably got exposed to a lot of moisture or something, and the bearing binded up on it. So yeah, it failed down the road. I took it apart, and it wasn't something I was able to fix internally with the pump, so I decided to buy a new one. But luckily my engine survived that. I don't have any issues that, you know, would normally be caused by overheating, so I think I caught it early enough that I was able to just get it home and replace the pump and have no issues. But I got that fixed, took it to get an alignment, and then literally the next day Angel Motorsports was able to get me in for a tune, which was awesome. And they're literally like 30 minutes down the road from me, so super convenient for a rotary owner. But we got it tuned, and it is... Hey, so different day, same Norman. My camera doesn't feel like playing apparently because it cut off again, and I didn't even realize until I was editing. But I'm pretty sure what I was saying was that I took it to get it tuned with Angel Motorsports.
unfortunately, it's not really something within my control 100%, but it's not actually making the same horsepower as it used to, in a bad way, because it's only making about 350 right now. And that's mainly because I tuned it on pump gas, just regular 93, and apparently that's just not nearly as good as what I was using in Japan, because I used to have it tuned to like 20-ish PSI and was making more than likely about 400, 450, but I didn't really have it on a dyno back then. It was a street tune, but currently it's pushing about 14 PSI, making about 350, which is honestly not bad at all. It feels a lot like it used to. It's just a little bit slower, but honestly, I'm still kind of in a phase where I'm just sort of testing stuff, so not super concerned about that. Eventually I will tune it with E85. There's just some work that's gonna have to go into that, and obviously more money. And where did my cat go? Okay, cool, that's gone. I'll figure that out eventually. Wow. But yeah, anyway, so what you're gonna see next is we're gonna take this thing for a spin around the block, because not much else to really talk about with this. I mean, like I said, it's in the works. I'm kind of doing stuff bit by bit, just kind of perfecting it as I go, but currently I've got some other bigger projects in the works that I'm a little bit more focused on, and while this thing works, I'm pretty much perfectly content to just let it keep just working. So gonna take you guys for a quick spin and throw in a few other little clips in here and there, and then we're gonna close this one out, and we'll see what happens next time.
All right, first thing you guys are probably gonna notice as soon as I turn the car on is that this is gonna show cold, and this is gonna start screaming at you. Don't worry about any of that. None of it's connected. I've tried to disconnect the, or I guess I should say I tried to ground out or just bypass the low coolant alarm. I have it deleted because my sensor broke, and honestly I'm not too concerned about it. But yeah, the wire that is supposed to cut it out whenever you like ground it out doesn't do that, and I'm not sure why. So that's another thing in the chopping block that I gotta fix later, but just so you're aware, that's, you know, that's not something to worry about. And the engine is pretty loud because of this exhaust, so you probably won't really be able to hear it anyway. So here we go. yet another one. So far, so good.